He was a single dad, barely scraping by, when a call meant for someone else woke him at 2:00 a.m. Most people would have let it ring out. But not him. He got in his truck and drove through the rain, not knowing who he'd find on the other end, or how that night would change the course of 3 lives forever. If stories about second chances and quiet courage move you well, you're in the right place. Now, let me take you there. The night didn't creep and it came down like a warning. Rain hammered the tin roof of a worn little house on the edge of Trenton, New Jersey, and inside, Miles Cooper was just rinsing the last dish from his warehouse shift, hands raw, still faintly smelling like motor oil and old cardboard. It was late. He should have been in bed hours ago, but his son Eli had another nightmare. Miles settled him with a warm blanket, grilled cheese, and the sound of ocean waves playing low until the boy's breathing eased. And then the phone rang. Unknown caller, 1:59 a.m. You know what I mean? The kind of call you don't answer unless you're asking for trouble. But Miles picked up anyway. "Hello," he said low. Silence. Then a woman's voice, cracked and ragged. "Please don't hang up, just come. 1425 Willow Creek. 2 can't breathe." The call dropped. Just like that. Miles stood in the kitchen, rain beating down, fridge humming, thinking maybe it was a wrong number, maybe even a bad dream. But there was something in her voice real, desperate, not faked. He looked in on Eli, curled up safe beneath stars and planets on his blanket, and whispered an apology before grabbing his keys. 15 minutes north, up through wooded hills and past old mansions now more shadow than memory. He found the address no gate, just a driveway winding through trees, up to a house that might have been grand once, but now looked abandoned to time and rain. The porch light was on. Miles hesitated, heart pounding, then knocked. The door opened to a woman in a silk nightgown, barefoot, hair damp and tangled, eyes red and glassy. She held a crystal glass, trembling in her hand, and stared at him like he was a ghost. "You're not him," she whispered. "No," Miles said gently. "I got to call a woman in trouble." The glass slipped from her hand, shattered. "I thought I was calling my therapist. I must have hit the wrong number." Her knees buckled. Instinctively, Miles caught her, led her inside, through broken glass to a faded living room where portraits watched from above a cold fireplace. He wrapped her in a blanket and knelt down, asked if she wanted him to call someone. She shook her head. No one left a call. She wasn't drunk, just destroyed by grief. "What's your name?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Miles Cooper. And you just came?" Didn't feel right not to. She blinked, really seeing him now. "I'm Alina Royce. I haven't let anyone into this house in 4 years." As the fire came to life, warming the room, the storm softened. Alina sat quiet, staring at the flames. "Why did you stay?" she asked. Miles thought for a long moment. "Because someone called me like they didn't want to be alone. I know what that feels like. Silence, but not the kind that hurts." She didn't ask him to leave, so he didn't. He just sat, letting the night stretch and breathe around them. Morning came slowly, light seeping through curtains over worn floors and dusty chandeliers. Alina still sat on the velvet couch, blankets slipping from her shoulder, while Miles checked his phone messages from his neighbor, watching Eli for him. He texted her, "All okay. Home soon." As he put on his boots, Alina woke. "You stayed. Didn't seem right to leave." She smiled, a little embarrassed. "I must have fallen asleep mid-sentence." "No need to apologize. You were tired." In the kitchen, he found coffee beans and a French press, and somehow the coffee was perfect. Alina stood there in the sun, hands around her mug, telling him about the house, her mother's garden, the conservatory she'd loved, how beauty, she once thought, could fix anything. But grief, Alina wore like armor now. Miles asked gently what happened. She told him, a family plane to Aspen, bad weather, no survivors. Everyone sent cards for a while. Then they stopped. People move on. I didn't. He leaned forward. "You didn't panic last night. You reached out. That's different." She smiled just barely. "Maybe you're right. Or maybe I just called the right number by mistake. Or the right one, just not the one you meant." She showed him the house, all its faded grandeur. In a hallway lined with portraits, a painting of a young boy and a half-wild dog stopped Miles, her brother. "Charlie," she said. He made me laugh until I snorted. They reached the conservatory, now overgrown but beautiful. You ever think about starting again? Miles asked. She shrugged. Who would see it? You would, he said simply. Before leaving, Alina thanked him for coming. Miles hesitated. My son Eli, he's different. Special. If I told someone else I left him with a neighbor to check on a stranger in the storm, they'd say I was crazy. Alina smiled, but you did it anyway. Sometimes people need someone to show up. She looked at him. Would you come back? Maybe help with the garden? Miles thought of Eli, who always asked where he went, who wondered why his mom never came back. Maybe, he said, if the coffee's as good next time. She laughed. Deal. Back home, nothing looked different, but everything felt changed. Eli, sitting on the floor organizing his cars, asked, Dad, when people go away, is it because you did something wrong? Miles knelt beside him. Sometimes people go because they don't know how to stay. That's not about you. You came back, Eli said. Always. That night, Miles stared at his phone. Alina's number still saved as unknown and called her. She answered on the second ring. Hope it's okay, I called. I was hoping you might. They made plans coffee Saturday, help in the garden. Saturday was bright with spring light. Eli came too. Eyes wide as the house came into view. Looks like a castle, he whispered. Alina greeted him, kneeling to his level, smiling. I've heard good things. In the greenhouse, Eli named plants Crawley Green, Spiky Snake Vine, Leafy Sea Monster. Alina laughed her real, unguarded laugh. Miles noticed. You don't laugh often. Not since the sky fell. He didn't push. Some wounds take time. They worked together, the three of them, clearing, digging, organizing. Eli found moss, called it the carpet from his favorite book. Alina knelt beside him. I used to sit here with my brother. He'd make up stories about the vines being dragons. Did he go away too? Eli asked. He did, but he visits me here, she said, touching her heart. Eli mimicked the gesture. Can I come again next time? She nodded. Yeah, buddy, Miles said. I think we'll be back. As Eli played in the yard, Miles and Alina sat on the back steps, sipping coffee from mismatched mugs. He's remarkable, Alina said. Quiet but present. He sees things I miss. Always has, Miles replied. I forgot what it feels like to be seen, she said, and something between them began to root recognition, steadiness. You know, she said quietly, I thought when my family died, I died with them. I let the silence become my whole world. And now? Miles asked. Alina looked at Eli playing. Now the silence has company. As they drove away, Eli said, She's not sad like before. No, Miles said, she started to grow again. Weeks went by. Miles and Eli visited after school. The greenhouse came alive with laughter, new growth, and even new friends. Eli called Alina Miss Alina, crowned her keeper of plant names. They laughed more. The house grew less haunted. One afternoon, Alina offered, what if you and Eli moved into the guest house? Not Charisha partnership. The house needs restoring. I'd rather it be someone who knows the soul of this place. Miles hesitated, had never taken a handout in his life, but she insisted, this is a partnership, not pity. He agreed on two conditions, help with maintenance and Eli gets his own garden bed. She grinned, non-negotiable. Settling in was easy. Natural Eli painted murals on garden walls. Miles fixed what needed fixing, and Alina found herself smiling, even laughing, without thinking. She told Miles about her brother, Charlie, the one who convinced her to dream bigger, and the guilt she still carried for not being on that fatal flight. You're not responsible for that, Miles told her. Grief lies, it tells you your survival cost something it didn't. Storms came and went, inside and out. One night, thunder rolled in and triggered old fears for Eli and for Alina, who froze in the kitchen as the sky split open. Miles guided Eli through it. Then, when Alina broke down, he found her in the study and just sat with her, breathing together until her panic eased. You're not broken, just growing back, he told her. The rain ended, and a new light came through the windows. Not everything was easy. Not all ghosts stayed buried. One day, Lucas Harrow, Alina's old fiancé, showed up, slick car, fancy shoes, full of questions and judgment. Alina stood her ground, telling him, "This place saved me. I don't need protecting. I need people who stay when it storms." Lucas left, and Miles asked, "Do you ever worry the past will knock it all down?" Alina replied, "Every day, but I build anyway." Eli, picking up on adult unease, ran away into the woods behind the house. Miles and Alina searched, finally finding him by the old train line, knees tucked to his chest. Alina wrapped her cardigan around him and said, "When my brother died, I thought everyone else would leave too. But then you gave me a red crayon. That was a bridge, Eli. I see you, and I'm not leaving." Back at the house, they made a rule. No goodbyes here, just see you tomorrow. As spring came full, the estate transformed. Kids' names appeared in painted tiles on the greenhouse walls: Eli, Maribel, Theo. Alina decided to open the gardens to the community, a center for families to heal and grow. Volunteers arrived. Hope returned. On the 100th day since that wrong call, Alina looked at Miles and said, "Funny how the wrong call turned out to be the right one." The first garden unveiling drew a crowd: neighbors, families, teachers, and children. Alina spoke, voice steady. "For a long time after my family died, I lived in silence. I thought healing meant disappearing. But then a stranger answered a call that wasn't for him and showed up anyway. So today, we open these gardens not just in memory of those we've lost, but in honor of those who stayed, who show up, who say, 'You are not alone.'" That night, as lanterns glowed along the paths and the air thrummed with new life, Miles, Alina, and Eli sat in the greenhouse, surrounded by everything they'd built: not a monument, not a charity, but a life. After Eli drifted to sleep, Miles found Alina in the conservatory with a box of old memories, her brother's things, a note that read, "You're the brave kind, the staying kind." She looked at Miles. "I want that to be us. Not just visitors in each other's lives. I want to stay." "Then stay," he said, "as long as you want." Their story, like the garden, wasn't perfect. It grew with storms and sun and hands willing to tend it, even after the rain. So how about you? Where are you watching from? Tell us your city, your country. We'd love to hear your story, too. If this moved you, subscribe for more tales of kindness, hope, and second chances. Thanks for being here. Your presence means more than you know.